Wherever you go and whatever you do, life is an adventure too precious to waste. I'm Kevin and I'm going to share my adventure with you. This is 52 Weeks. G'day, I'm just out for a walk. Thought I'd bring you along with me. It's been a little while since I've been out for a walk. We've had some hot weather and some rainy weather, a nice mix. But today's quite nice. It's a coolish evening, so I thought I'd just go out for a walk around Wollundry Lagoon. So the Wollundry Lagoon is in the centre of the town. It's not a bad walk around, quite pretty. You would have seen me do a couple of kind of intros and things sitting on the banks here, but I thought it was an ideal opportunity to show you a bit more of it whilst I was out walking. So the Wollundry Lagoon used to be part of the Murrumbidgee River until it erosion made it meet up, and this is the bit that's left. It's actually quite important to the local Wiradjuri indigenous community. Look at that, some duckies out having a swim. Not sure if you can see that. I might do a close-up of it if I can. We'll see what happens. Yeah, plenty of birds around here. You can hear some galahs squawking in the background. It's evening, so yeah, so pretty important to the Wiradjuri people. As a meeting place and food gathering place. It's evidence of fish traps up closer to the river. So there's some nice houses along here. You can see these ones have their own road. As you get further along, there's more houses, but I'll tell you about the road when we get there. Yeah, so pretty important to the Wiradjuri people. It's also a pretty major part of the city's infrastructure, so as well as having this nice walking track on it, see, lots of birds. There's another little duck out for a paddle, and maybe see some galahs on the other side, but we'll probably bump into some of those sooner or later. Yeah, major part of the city infrastructure is, you know, it's a good kind of recreational facility. Lots of people do a walk around here for a bit of exercise, and it's quite a pleasant thing to do. I quite often come through here on the way into town. So one end of the lagoon's down near my place, and then the other end of the lagoon is in the middle of town. And I often do a walk through when I'm just going into town. So not too much effort unless it's a really hot day or the rain's beating down. So that bridge up in the distance is one that crosses over. There's a couple of those along the way. So the houses in this section, as I turn around, as you might notice, there's no road in front of them. So the road for these houses is actually on the other side of the lagoon, and typically there's no cars driving past, as I'm trying to show you. So their front road is on the other side of the lagoon, just where that car's going through now. and this is their front footpath. They have vehicle access via a lane at the back, but it's quite pleasant. Be a nice place to live. Come out the front in the morning, have your cup of tea or coffee and watch the world wake up. So that would be pretty nice. So all sorts of houses here, built in various styles. Yeah, but the recreational aspects of it are not the only infrastructure game for the city. This is actually part of the stormwater management system. So all the storms up from that end of the town actually drain into the lagoon, and when it gets full enough they actually pump some of it into the river. But it's about managing the stormwater as well. So there's generally a fair amount of water in here. I don't see a change in level much. So it's a pretty important piece of infrastructure in the city. You can see just here that the people in this house, people in this part maintain the kind of nature strip, but people in this house here have actually done something really nice. They've constructed a little table down there. That'd be really pleasant. You could come out here and have a beer in the evening and watch the world go by, or you could have your morning coffee there. It'd be very nice. Be quite a nice place to live in, that one. I think it's for sale at the moment, so if you're interested, check out the Wagga Real Estate. So as you can see, it goes for a little while. It's really quite a nice walk. There's tables over the other side. The other side is the main kind of road area, so lots of people park their cars. Sometimes they have fish and chips or a sandwich or stuff and have a chat with their mates. Saw that happening a couple of times in the lockdown. This is interesting. Wagga City Council, people walk their dogs along here, so you're actually supposed to clean up after them, but the council's provided you with bags, so it's a pretty good service from the council for all of us, in fact. So these roads here are not that busy. That's you get a bit of traffic along here. There's the house with the for sale sign out the front. Yeah, so lots of wildlife in the place and lots of kind of native vegetation. Sometimes when it kind of falls in, it just stays there. That's part of the kind of natural habitat management that goes on here. Nice house here. That used to be a couple of flats which I almost lived in once. Well, in one of them anyway. But I got pipped at the post by somebody else, so I didn't get it. Ended up living a bit further out of town, but would have been quite nice just having a backyard that backs onto this. As you can see on this side, lots of renos happening. So these two houses here used to be rental properties. So had lots of different sorts of people living around the lagoon. I think they've been bought and they're doing major renos, so I'm not sure if they'll continue to be rental properties or if they will be houses that people live in, sold off and just owner occupiers in there, or whether they'll be sold off to the, rented out to kind of high roller renters around the place. So not many people on the track today. I met a couple of people on the way just before I started filming. So they were out for their walk, but not too many at the moment. So now we come up to another road just up here, which we'll have to kind of bend out and away from the lagoon for a little while, because the properties on the other side of this road all actually back onto the lagoon rather than front onto them. So as we come out across the road here, used to be a government department building, but they no longer have use for it, so it's being modified for our Conservatorium of Music, which was looking for new premises to do their classes and administration out of, because they had to move from where they were because the university sold the property that they were in. So bit of controversy over the funding of this without proper processes, but looks like it's well underway, and I think the plan is to have it done towards the end of this year, 2022, and then occupied beginning of 2023, I think is the plan. But you can see the fences up, lots of work being done in there. It looks like they're putting on an extra floor, but we'll see. Well, hopefully I won't see, because hopefully by the time they get that sorted, I'll actually be back in Thailand. Seems like a long way away now. It's just about 2 years since I was in Thailand. It's February now, and came back in March when the government put out the call to say come home if you have to. And I unfortunately had to, because I had a bit of work to do, a bit of debt to work off before I retired. But I've done that, retired now, working on the visa. Yes, so these houses on here, they actually back onto the lagoon. They're in various states of repair. That one caught fire a long time ago, and hasn't been done. Behind it there are flats, so these are kind of ripe for somebody to get hold of and make a killing out of. Just over here, over the other side, that 3-storey apartment building. Those of you who have been following me might remember Ray, who came to visit me. We met up in Bangkok and had a bit of a travel together. He was over in the Middle East doing some volunteer work, and stopped off in Bangkok on the way back. So he actually lives in that building just across the road from the CWA. For those of you who don't know what the CWA is, it's the Country Women's Association. A pretty powerful group. It's about country women getting together and making sure that their regions are improved, and country women have a say in the political process, etc., etc. So the road we just crossed is one of the main roads through the city. Over to the left there's the city centre road, but most of the through traffic goes on that one. It's a bit quiet at the moment because it's dinner time and everybody's home having dinner. But you get quite a lot of traffic coming through there. Over the other side here you can see the Victory Memorial Gardens, so that's a really nice garden spot in the centre of town. Hopefully the battery won't run out and we'll have a chance to have a look at that on the way back. However, yeah, so we're heading to the city end now, and we're just going to duck in behind some shops across the road. You can see supermarket. Maybe you can't, I can't see it in the screen, so we'll see, we'll take my word for it. Supermarket, bottle shop over there, and in here we get a better view of Victory Memorial Gardens through there, and in through behind some of the shops. There we go. That's not too bad, is it? Living in Wagga can be quite pleasant. See the good view of the lagoon and across the Victory Memorial Gardens, and the tree that's fallen in that's being used as habitat for, well, you know, local wildlife, fish. Lots of birds sitting there. There's actually turtles in there as well. Sometimes you see a few of them congregating around here, and sometimes we see pelicans in there as well. So now you can veer off the path here and head up. That takes you through to the main road, Fitzmaurice Street. And there's two parts of the main road in Wagga. Fitzmaurice Street is the north end and the older part of it, and then Baylis is the southern end of the main street. It's a pretty long main street drag. This is a nice little walk through here. Probably can't get a good shot from where I am, but just over here on this side you'll see a building that used to be the local radio station. They've moved out and it's been converted into apartments and some shops at the front, but apartments there. Those stairs in front of us here, you can duck up and go to Fitzmaurice Street that way as well. We're going to go under the bridge, which is the bridge here delineates between Fitzmaurice Street and Baylis Street. And this part over this side, just over the other side, you can see the Wagga Wagga Council chambers. So the bottom floor that you're looking at there is the library, good library service here, and then the upper floors are the council administrative buildings, areas. There's art galleries in there too, so in behind the library there's an art gallery, and just up the end of the lagoon there you can see the Wagga Civic Theatre, which was built with a donation from the School of Arts. They had a building called the School of Arts building where they did their performances and lots of other things, I'm sure. So they actually sold that, and that money was used to largely pay for the construction of the Civic Theatre, and they got a reasonable amount of usage for that. Over time, the usage has been pared back, so they might be regretting that they sold that now. You just see that, oh, noisy motorcycles. So the building just before the lights my goodness, he wants us to know he's here. Anyhow, hopefully he won't come back before we duck down. So the building just before the lights used to be a bank, and then next to it is the School of Arts building. Just duck up a bit further, see if we can get a better shot of it. So once again, that's been renoed, shops down the bottom, and that's got offices up the top. So that's the high roof in between the bank and the what's called the Townsend Centre now. It's another reno. So yeah, there's the Fitzmaurice Street. Once again, it's not business hours, so not very busy. The main street has this end is good. It's a nice florist and bookshop in there. Use second-hand books. Wagga Base Hospital opportunity shop where people donate stuff and they sell to raise money. So the council for a while had a public art project. One of them was this bit here, which is actually a bicycle rack, but it's an arts project as well. So it was part of the council's public art policies. And here we go. Don't know how the sun will go here, but once again the lagoon. So over here, that's the 2WG buildings. We'll see the sign up the top, which gets lit up at night sometimes. It's a bit of history for you. But yeah, they moved out of the centre of the city now. We've got a different premises. So there, the shops down the front there, and as you can see going backwards, there's apartments, nice balconies. Be a nice place to live too, near the lagoon. Alright, so this is the Victory Memorial Gardens. At the end of World War I, lots of country towns built these kind of memorials to the people they'd lost in the war. Lots of Australians died in World War I, World War II and various other wars around. It wasn't a coordinated program by the government or anything, it was just each of the communities did it off their own bat. So this was Wagga's effort, go at that. So just going back that way, so in there that's the flame that's always on, barring extraordinary circumstances, and that memorial, so the front of it that you can see on the other side was built for World War I, and the inside of it was then constructed as memorial to the many other wars that Australia has been involved in. So and the one that you can see in the distance, get a bit closer, that's the original World War I memorial. On the corner there, and just opposite from the old council chambers. So the old council chambers are a museum now. Look, there he is, noisy bugger. Yeah, Museum of the Riverina, and then behind us the new council chambers and offices. As the city grew, the staff grew, so they built it, and it includes, you know, art galleries. There's a cafe in there as well, service desk, all that sort of stuff. There's a design competition, and at the back there's the National Art Glass Gallery, and the design concept is that it's built representing a shard of glass, which I've always thought was a bit of a bad omen for a glass gallery, but no disasters yet, so that's a good thing. Yeah, so it's getting closer to sundown now, as you can see by the sun glinting through the trees and causing you viewing distress. So this gets used for memorial services as well as all sorts of other things. We do a multicultural festival which makes use of this every year, and you can see there's a covered stage there, so they do performances in the gardens and such, and a playground over the other side. It's the lagoons over there where we walked on the other side of it. Lots of, as well as the kind of big memorials here, there's lots of little individual memorials to particular things. Here, this being one of them, which is a memorial to Sandakan. There's a few of those kind of dotted about the place. Right, so we're back at the thoroughfare road now. So when the Victory Memorial Gardens were established, this actually road didn't exist, and the Victory Memorial Gardens went, you know, right the way through. But it was then installed afterwards, so most people think that that's the Victory Memorial Gardens over there and that's something else, but in actual fact, technically, the Victory Memorial Gardens actually continue on the other side of the road and go on for a little bit. So we're still in the Victory Memorial Gardens, even though we're on a road. Once again, that's the back of those houses. So there's one or two of them which are completely vegetated in, so they wouldn't be much chop, but I reckon if somebody got hold of them and did a reno job on them, they'd be really nice places to live. Hopefully not just for the wealthy, there would be some budget-friendly accommodation there, but you know, I live in hope. It's not the world we live in at the moment, but hopefully one day. Yeah. So we'll just walk down here a little bit further before we call it quits. And once again you see the lagoon. It's another reasonably main thoroughfare through, so that's the main traffic. To the left is the main traffic through the city up past parallel to Baylor Street, and then another one which goes off along the front of the lagoon, which is the road for the houses on the other side. And so in here you can see the remnants, well, not remnants, but extra bits of the Victory Memorial Gardens. So there's a cannon there. This is known as the kind of Peace Park section of it. So Rotary has a Peace Cities program, and Wagga Wagga was the first peace city in the world. And this is the monument that they set up to that at that stage when they established that. And then in here there's some obelisks which pay tribute to important people like Alfred Nobel, who's well known for the Nobel Prize, of course. He also invented dynamite, I believe, so he's an interesting guy, and various other people. So we're going to start heading back now. So all along this side is still, you know, parkland. A bit further along the walking track is not so kind of obviously a footpath and a road. Used to be an old brewery in there once upon a time. It's a shame it went out of business. It'd be in hot demand now with the craft brewing stuff that's happening these days, but that was long ago. So yeah, as you see, there's kind of tables in here. Quite often see people meeting for lunch and having a chat with their mates. So I hope you've enjoyed that here, listening to me rabbit on for over half an hour. If you're still watching, congratulations. I am very impressed. But I'm going to head for home now, so I'll catch you soon.